Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the last IAC meeting for this year. And we will pick back up in September in City Hall. Donna, make a note of that. It's the mayor's meeting, the first one, so we'll be there. And she's also going to install the new board. The first thing we're going to do things a little bit backwards today, in case I do need to leave. Before I put up the slate for the elections, is there anyone else that is interested in running? President, sounds good. No, but in all honesty, we still need a recording secretary if anyone is interested. Is there any interest?
It's not a hard position.
Crickets.
We record the meetings. All you'd have to do is take the recording and just write a couple notes and present it for the next
Take a
meeting.
good look. All right, I nominate Travis.
No, don't.
Perfect. I second that. I love that.
You know what? He should have been here. There's no one else. Might as well. All right. So, all right, so we're gonna put up the. Well, that's very in the
It
mood.
was very pretty.
All right, so for president, it's myself.
Nominated. Here she is.
So for president, it's myself, vice president, it's Carolyn, recording secretary is Travis, treasurer is Jamae, directors are Colleen, Brenda, we'll take Travis out of here. Kathy and Phyllis. Is there anyone interested in joining the board of directors? Karen's gonna take us out to dinner. All right. Is there a second for that nomination? Of course you would. Vote. You guys say yay or nay, just yay if you appreciate it.
All in favor, raise your hand.
Another 2 years.
Oh.
All right, so that's done. All right, elections are done. If anyone is interested,
You're short
let us know again.
one board
You're
of,
short two positions.
well, the board of directors for.
They couldn't get them to raise their hand for anything.
Well, then ask them to raise their hands again.
Christine. It was always a tradition that the director of the senior center sat on this board. So you were coming on this board. Alright. So you were secretary. Wait, I'm not gonna do secretary. You're just on the general board. All right.
All right, I'm putting Christine on.
All right, do you guys vote Christine for the general? All right, no, but in all honesty, Christine, it was. Carolyn did it.
That just got. She said yes and then left.
Yeah, all right, so that went quicker than I thought, so. Thank you all for coming again. As you all know, this is probably like the busiest month in the city, trying to take care of everything for the summer. And a lot of good things are moving forward, and a lot of projects, and a lot of camps, a lot of programs, and a lot. But we thought this meeting, we would start by having the library speak a little bit about their programs, since we haven't been here since pre-COVID. And then after that, we'll have Carolyn, Sharon, and Dan give us a little update on IAC, the past, the present, and looking upon this election. I don't know about the future, but so we'll start with where should go?
Chairs, get some chairs.
I could start with the adult programs.
You can
Okay.
Go for it.
Morning, everyone. My name is Amy and I'm a librarian here at the Glen Cove Library. I work in the adult section. And some of the things I would like to highlight that we're doing this summer include the Summer Reading Challenge for adults, which begins on Monday, June 19th. People can read and review 3 books in 2 months and submit a review. Everyone who completes the challenge is entered into a drawing for a special prize. People can submit their reviews either online or at our information. Another thing I would like to highlight that is very popular here is our Museum Pass program, where we offer free admission to local and New York City museums and gardens. These include the Empire Pass, the Long Island Children's Museum, Planning Field, Vanderbilt Museum, Nassau County Museum of Arts, New York and Brooklyn Botanic Gardens, and many more. We have a new program. It's a knitting and crocheting club that's going to be meeting weekly on Friday mornings at 10 a.m. excuse me, the Friends of the Library, it's a fundraising organization, and they meet on the second Wednesday of each month at 11. So after this meeting, I'm heading into that meeting. A new program that we also have is a walking club, where every Thursday morning at 10 a.m. we meet at the library and walk down to Barbie, so people can walk and talk at their own pace, make friends, talk about books, and get to see sights in the town. Some of the virtual programs that we're running, because our community room is still under construction, include programs such as the Art of Ancient Rome, Conspiracy Theories in America. We have an author visit with Jean and Horowitz, and also a program on the Robin Williams story. And our virtual programs have been very well attended, but we look forward to resuming more in-person programs once we have the community room available. That's it for me. I have a question.
Can anyone in this
If you
room?
have a library card at any library in Nassau, you can use it at any other library in Nassau. Some items that are super popular, like our hotspots, which are the wireless, the free wireless bestsellers. Certain things are restricted for our patrons, but anybody could come in and borrow pretty much 98% of what you have.
Thanks.
You're welcome. And then you can return it at Locust Valley. You don't even need to bring it back. You can return it at any library. It's called an interlibrary loan
Right.
service.
I knew that for the other, I wasn't sure because Glen Cove's sitting. so
Yeah,
I
no,
wasn't
we're
sure if it
part of
was
the National Library
Okay,
system.
perfect.
Yep.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
So when you want to get a pass to go to.
We have an online
Is it
calendar.
free? Is it free? Yeah.
The pass is free to borrow. Most of the passes are for free admission. Some of them might charge a little extra if you wanted to do, let's say at the Vanderbilt, you can go tour the grounds for free with the pass. And if you want to see a planetarium show, it's $6 extra. But it's still a bargain, and it's really, really popular within the community for parents, children, families.
So it's like, parents and kids, like you have to pay.
Oh, everybody's free. And each pass has different perks. Some pass will let 4 people in, some will let 6, some have unlimited. It depends on the actual pass. But it's a wonderful way to go to places to see different things and save some money at the same time. So it's a wonderful program.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And if you're not a resident, can you do the program?
Some of the children's programs especially are for Glen Cove card holders only, just because they fill up so fast and are super popular that we do like to keep them for our patrons. But most of the programs, especially the adult programs, they are open to everybody and anybody.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, that's a great segue into what I have to say. I will talk about the National Library, and I don't think I have enough for everybody. But the National Library Tour started yesterday. Yesterday was Thursday.
Monday.
Oh, Monday, yeah, June
Monday.
12th. And it ends, it's 2 months long. It ends on August 12th. And there is a great map, pick up here, or any of the libraries, participating libraries. I think out of 54, maybe like 50 libraries are participating, so that's pretty much almost everyone. And you get prizes, you get a sticker as you visit. We've had a couple of visitors already. So we are really trying to integrate, right? Let people know that they're part of a system, not just one. But what Amy mentioned before, the museum passes are only for Glen Cove residents. But otherwise, programs, and I know Carol will talk about the children's program, which is a little bit more limited, but adults, especially if it's virtual, and a lot of ours are virtual because we don't have a community room yet, anybody's welcome to attend. Really encouraged.
Get people from all over, up and out of the country, sign into our rooms. California, Chicago, people join from everywhere. It's really amazing. Yeah, we put a nice little name out there with our programs. What do you think?
And then just, I want to share like two other things. One is Juneteenth. I know you guys have heard me talk about Juneteenth, a full day of celebration for quite a while now. It's coming up. It's this Saturday, so it's very exciting. From 9:30 until 4 o'clock, we have programming, like 8 different programs. Starts with like a plant exhibit that talks about our seed library, all the way to presentations on Tuskegee Airmen, Harlem Hellfighters. There's a cookbook club that's meeting. We also have quilters. If you look around later, there's a quilters event going on, and the quilters who made those for us are gonna be here, to do a craft. Children's has a great, author, Kim Taylor. She's coming at 11. The gospel choir from Baptist Church is singing at 2:30. And Ed Norris has said that he would send a couple of students to sing, and I found out that it's 35 students. It's gonna be a really amazing group. So that starts about at 2:30, and then we have a professional jazz trio that ends the day. So I'm not, I would love it if you come for a full day. If any of those sound good, and if you can pop in during the day, we'd love to have you. So I'm gonna send someone guy inviter over here. And,
You have to register, or you just come.
there is a registration link, but I don't think anyone's. And two other really quick things. We have been partnering with Charles Evans. We had a social worker. She was fantastic. But we did recognize that we needed someone who's fluent in Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, but I know there's many varieties of Spanish. And we have people from everywhere. So we really needed someone to be able to communicate with, our patrons. And so now we don't have a social worker, but we have a caseworker, and he's fantastic. So, continue to send people to us, and we will make that connection. And then my last thing is artist in residence. We started a new program. It's we're working with a artist. Her name is Amanda Fisk. We will promote her first programs for July and August in our newsletter. She is a digital artist and teaches at Friends Academy. She's going to be with us for a year. So she'll showcase her artwork and also have programming for the community. Yeah, she's fantastic. Yeah, so that's very exciting. So look out for that. And then now I'm going to turn it over.
Hi, I'm Carol Cowan, heading the services. This is our big thing, summer reading, like this is what we live for all year, we've been planning. So we're really excited because post-pandemic, we are back strong. All of our programming is in person, and we have lots and lots of families. Glen Cove is, I've been here a long time. There's all kinds of new families coming here, a 2-year-old, 4-year-old, pregnant parents. So we have lots and lots of programs. Plus, I say this every time, nobody ever takes me up on it, but if you go to a birthday party or your grandchildren do something, they're like, I did this and I loved it. You should tell me, because then I can have them here. A lot of it's like birthday parties. I'm having a balloon artist for our summer paper. And then we're gonna, it's the history of balloons, and then we bring in some books. Everything we do brings in books and learning. And we're trying to bring all kinds of fun activities to the Glen Cove families. So this Monday, I know a lot of agencies are closed, but the library is open, and we're having, it's really good for us. We're having our summer reading kickoff. The lunatic, make the lunatic. And I've already had about 50 people signed up, which is why we are restricting our programs to post only unless it's something sort of small and we need a little more registration. That's not the case. So we have our summer preview for kids. Registration for that starts next Tuesday. It's all online. Families can register with their library card online. They can come in with their library card, or they can follow some of the we do have our children's and teen newsletter translated into Spanish, which we feel is super important because our parents want to be able to register their kids to the program. Our teen program starts tomorrow night. Also having a lot of really good programs, things I'm interested in, and I hope teens are too. I am trying to have programs from all different communities and cultures. So like, for example, we're having some art, the drum circle, we're having henna, trying to do fun things. TikTok made me cook it. So again, if you hear them, think they want to do, please let me know. I'm always looking for ideas. Always looking for ideas. So summer reading used to be very prize driven. Now we just have it like one prize a week. Everybody has to read. You can't just show up. You have to read. And we have great prizes. Teens get a gift card raffle every Friday, and children raffles or books and like a outdoor basket, outdoor games, things that sort of promote like family activities. So please let everybody know.
I have a question. How many teams do you normally get? And are they middle school teams or high school teams?
So we usually get about 40 that sign up and 30 to 25 to 30 that are active. They're mostly middle school students.
Just with safe, just so you guys know, we have a really good high school program, too good, for drugs and violence. So we did it with my church. We had a group that we did it in September. We're trying to start a new group. So we're trying to find, but it has to be high school students. If you guys have anything in your churches or your organizations or your agencies that we could team up, I would be the person in the class. It's fun. They have games. I love it. It's a really, really good program. So, maybe we can get an extra group. It doesn't have to be every day, once a week or something, that we can work together.
What's your name?
Brenda.
Lopez.
Lopez.
Send you stuff.
Yes. We came my son to one of the programs that we did the dance. That was fun. He loved it. Yes, that was really good.
And Carol, I'd like to just thank you so much for always displaying our Red Ribbon Week art contest. Thank you to the library, because it makes the kids feel so proud. So I appreciate that you do that.
They really do. They'll come in with their parents.
I know. Thanks so much for that. Coming around again, so you know it.
Let's slow down a little bit, all right? Let's enjoy the summer. Do you, library, anything else? You guys good? All right. One more thing that we just want to do housekeeping wise. We had sent out the bylaws a couple of months ago. There were some changes. I don't know if you guys saw the bylaws, if you had any questions, what the changes were, about the changes or anything. But we wanted to know, it's been like 5 months, so we want to vote on them. The only change is that I have a personal helicopter to take me. No, are we ready to vote for the bylaws, or do we want to wait till September? Are you guys okay?
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, proposal.
Vote for the bylaws.
There you go.
There we go.
Second.
Second, we have a vote on the bylaws.
Aye.
That's one less thing to worry about. God bless.
Okay.
Uh,
Yay.
Before we go into IAC, and again, I apologize if I have to step out. I don't want to interrupt them. Big event in July. It's our amputee softball game. The mayor's office, Tony Jimenez. We're trying to get as many people down to the stadium as possible. It's a free event, family event. It's pretty crazy. Like I saw some of their videos. We've been getting, there's an opportunity to buy banners if you guys want. It's $300 to put your banner up there. If, for example, the library wants to put a banner, I'm sure you have a banner here. You don't have to make another one. But we can just place it. It's just a $300 fee. All the money that's raised goes back to the organization. So
a softball amputee organization?
the veteran softball amputee organization. So
Which is like a national organization?
it's they travel, they come from all different places to play these games. This is the first time they're coming to Glen Cove. This year, July 15th, they're playing in Mauritius, and then on Sunday they're coming here. And we tried planning like a barbecue for them to come to the concert on Morgan's Park afterwards and stuff like that, but they fly out. They all disperse. So they might be coming Friday to Downtown Sounds, then go to Mauritius for their game, then come here for our game that Sunday. It's pretty crazy. If you see one of these videos, it's like the prosthetics fall off. They're still going. They don't care. It's rough. It's pretty crazy. But if anyone is interested, we hope to see you there. We would really like to pack City Stadium that day for this.
I can share this. My building in Lynbrook has an amputee program, and the amputees play basketball.
Wow.
They have these special wheelchairs, like.
Well,
I'm gonna
Mike
share
and
this
Gary
with
did
you.
a lot with Kiwanis and the wheelchair basketball. I think they're trying to.
I was gonna mention it.
to see if they wanna just come watch it, or, you know.
September 28th.
Collaborate.
Yeah.
Honest Clubs, we're gonna have our wheelchair challenge. We had it 2 years in a row. So we're bringing it back this September, the last Thursday in September. And we're getting, these wheelchair players, high school students. So I visualize the Harlem Globetrotters versus the fire department. But they're donating the wheelchairs as they've done in the past. And, it's in memory of Mike and Jack.
Thank you.
I want to say.
11.
Does it say it?
Yeah. both
Oh,
days
at
we
the
get
bottom,
one.
okay, perfect, thank you.
All right, so
Okay.
I'll stop with the public announcements now. I'll hand it over to Carolyn, and then if I leave, you guys can take the floor yours.
Okay, well, this will be fairly short, but some of you were on a Zoom, like, what was it, 2 years ago? I don't know, in the middle of COVID. 22, yeah, we were celebrating our 50th anniversary, but just, it's great there's so many people here, because I just want to quick do a thing on this. For those of you that weren't even born yet, which is hard for me to say, we started in 1971. And the fact that we're all still meeting and we never took a break is just, to me, incredible. And I just want to read these couple paragraphs. Rhoda Feiner, who some of you may know or heard of, she started all this. And this is what she wrote for that. Before I was employed by the Urban Renewal Agency, which is now the CDA, Community Development Agency, I was chair of the Citizens Advisory Committee to the Urban Renewal Agency. I initiated a volunteers clearinghouse whose purpose was to match community agencies with potential volunteers. This continued after I was employed by the agency. A few years later, in 1971, I was appointed by Joan Parry, who worked for social services at the hospital. I was approached by Joan Parry. She suggested that we establish an interagency council to provide a platform for all community agencies involved in providing services to local residents. The purpose was to exchange information and cooperation among the helping agencies. My immediate thought was, oh no, not another meeting. But I told her I would contact all the agencies I had access to and set up a meeting to explore the idea. At first, some agency leaders were reluctant to share their information because they were afraid that they would all be competing for scarce governmental funding. By meeting at each other's facilities and becoming familiar with the personnel and the mission of each agency, this concern abated. They soon found ways they could coordinate their activities to avoid duplication. They were also able to provide a variety of coordinated services to their clients. The idea caught on and it grew, and it's now 50 years later. Who knew? And this was written in 1971. Rhoda is still with us. She lives in Port Washington. She's in her 90s. And I had lunch with her the other day, and we went over this again, and she's amazing. Just anyway. Okay, so Spiro, you're our 9th president in 15 weeks, which was how long?
So this tells me
Normal.
It's a light job.
so it's easier to leave my job.
So okay, so 71 to we have 95. Rhoda and Joan Parry kind of ran things. From 96 to 98, Linda Satz Jacobs, who some of you may know, was president. From 98 to 02, Dr. Vogren was president. From 02 to 04, Juan Castro was president. From 4 to 14, Sharon Harris was president.
She
Yeah.
started the pen.
She did it. From 14 to 18, I was president. From 18 to 19, Kathy Flynn was president. And since 2019, Carol has been our president. So there.
Maybe she's been voting.
This is recorded, you know.
Which I want to make them, but that's, I'm glad you said that. Also on the IAC website, and I didn't know this, Dan told me this, is the reporting of the Zoom meeting we
Yes,
had,
yes.
Yeah.
which is fabulous to watch because we go on and on about, our 50 years. But before, I wanted Dan and Sharon, since they're both here, just to say something. But before I do, I was thinking about this last night. And I thought, this wouldn't happen now because of the internet. I mean, we can all, talk to each other all the time. Or we can look things up, or we can, you know what I'm saying? It's just was such a different time. And yet with all the electronics and everything else, it's still good to get together and be able to share, it's a different way of communicating, and it's good we didn't lose it. So that's my philosophical thought. So let me quick, I don't want to embarrass you, Dan, but I'm gonna read, June of 2005, we had a breakfast at the Metropolitan. And Dan was president then, or no, he was. No, he
I
was
was
pre-
on the board,
You
but
were on the board,
the
yeah.
term was over.
Right, he was leaving, that's right.
Everybody remembers when their term is over.
Yeah.
How it started.
Okay, so anyway, he spoke and he said how proud he was and all, which I'll let you do again. But then at the end of the meeting, I had some notes I found and I thought they were kind of interesting. At the time, I was deputy mayor for Mary Ann Holtzcamp, and I was there. I guess she couldn't be there. And I mentioned that former Mayor Tom Swazi had used the IAC concept to coordinate Nassau County departments when he became county executive. So, we went further than just local. And I just thought that was, I had forgotten that. I found that note. So Dan and Sharon, if you each want to just say something since you're.
Well, there used to be a very famous Yankee named Yogi Berra, who once said, "This feels like deja vu all over again." So I was very much honored by the invitation in 2022, the April meeting, to talk in combination with Rhoda and everyone else about some historical points in the IAC history, which is very meaningful, impactful, very colorful. So you go to the beautiful IAC website, and it's so nicely organized, and I hope everyone's taking advantage of seeing that website. It's absolutely.
We started with the book that we have to change every 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our website.
It's spectacular. So you scroll down and you see my mug, a red square.
That's why you like it a lot, right?
So it's not me. You hit that button and you see the entire meeting as Carolyn was referring to. Anyway, so I thank you again for talking about history. When I was in school, of course, history was not my favorite subject. You don't learn history, you're bound to repeat it, which of course I did in summer schools. So Carolyn and I spoke on Monday, and she and I reviewed that meeting, and Carolyn asked me if I could touch upon just a few items, because again, this is a brief presentation, whereas the last meeting totally focused on history. So Carolyn, and she mentioned it, she asked me to focus on the first annual conference at the Metropolitan. And indeed, Carolyn presented on behalf of Mayor Holtzcamp. Tom Swazi was there, George Ciberone from the Nassau County Youth Board. We got grants from the Nassau County Youth Board. And so they spoke. Carolyn also asked me to talk about the retreats that we had. There was a time where we left Long Island and went off to retreat centers to have concentrated discussions about what IAC could become. Carolyn asked me to make note of the New York Times article back 25 years ago when homeless shelter started. She made the cover of the Long Island section in New York Times. In that article, it spoke about all of the agencies, and IAC and Glen Cove agencies, and the names about everyone's commitment in terms of this project. And Karen also asked me to mention incorporation. So starting with the Metropolitan, I don't know if any it still exists, but I saved the brochure from that event. And it was extraordinarily organized by Victoria Crosby and Sharon and Chris Morris, who was hired through 21st Century Grant. And in this book, not only, as Carolyn mentioned before, it gives the presentation of speakers, but also various pictures of the history of interagency council. So there are pictures of the retreat, pictures of meetings that we've had, pictures of the man who, Marty Pollock, who helped us incorporate IAC, pictures of Mayor Holtzcamp, Mayor Swazi, Tom Swazi, the county executive. And it's really, there's even a picture in here in terms of our meeting after 9/11 and what that meant to all of us and how we could participate in terms of anything post 9/11 here in Glen Cove and people in Glen Cove who had to go through that terrible tragedy. So I'm gonna just, if it all could come back to me, I'm gonna circulate that. And from that meeting, I have some little newspaper articles. There's Sharon and Victoria.
Oh, I should have brought the pictures that I
Quiet,
found.
With Mayor Holtzcamp, there you are again. Me and Victoria.
I got some good ones to share if anybody
Be
needs.
quiet, Spirit.
And then here's the announcement that was circulated in the community about the Metropolitan. And the main theme of it was building capacity through collaboration, interagency council of Glen Cove model organization. So that it was awesomely attended, if I remember. The room was packed.
Yep.
So congratulations to IAC. In fact, tomorrow, June 15th, is the 18th anniversary of that event. So congratulations to IAC for pulling off such a wonderful community event. It got a lot of excellent press in the newspapers, and it really set a stage for the future of IAC. The retreats, one was held up in Ludingtonville, near the intersection of Route 84 and Taconic State Parkway. And Pat Sparks, I don't know if anyone remembers her name, she was a very good group leader. And for 2 days, we laid out an outline to work with a select group of us in terms of what IAC could become. And in that booklet, there are some pictures associated with that. And after that, I remember having a series of strategic planning sessions. Okay, there you go. So, so that was very helpful in terms of setting the stage for the future of IAC. And what I want to finish with is, here's that article in the New York Times. This belongs in the historical room, but here it is. This is a Long Island section of the New York Times back in January 18th, 1998. There's a picture of the site where men often stay, and an article in here in terms of interagency council. Glen Cove's, at the time, 20-year-old interagency council, an independent consortium of 31 local human service groups. And it goes on and on and on to talk about, as I mentioned before, all of the agencies that took part in it. So I've saved this all these years, I'll take it back when it gets back to me. So I'm happy to talk a little bit about that section of my time involved with IAC. My first meeting with IAC was in November of 1985. before I even came to Glen Cove. I was invited to talk about social recreational activities for folks with developmental disabilities. That was my job at the time. And actually, it was 25 years ago, this meeting, where I was elected president. So just wanted to finish with that. Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful, wonderful journey. Carolyn has been my guru for so many years. And thanks again, Carolyn, for thinking of me to talk a little bit about this meeting.
I think there's a possibility we can maybe keep a location in the library as our. Oh, you do? Oh, all right, so what do you have here? Is that? The box that I was accused of moving? Fine. I'm not losing my mind. I got a lot on my feet, but I'm not losing my mind.
I gave you.
It's in the library.
My box.
There you go.
It's my box.
Didn't I give you box?
I love you.
You gave me a couple folders. There's no, Gabor gave me folders of stuff. No, you never gave me the box. You never gave me a box.
Okay.
She brought it here.
Carolyn.
It's all right. I still live here.
Now that
I
the proper time,
apologize.
we can keep things here in that box.
For that,
Now
you
we
should be
know.
president.
Okay.
That's for bonus.
All right, so maybe we'll add more stuff and so this way we can keep everything here. Great.
Can we digitize stuff or? It's hard, okay.
There were like, when I inherited them, there were maybe 4 boxes.
Wow.
It was a lot of information and I went through and I kind of consolidated all. I don't know why I thought I gave it to you, but okay.
No, you gave it to Lydia.
You gave it to
Okay.
Jermaine. Jermaine just snuck it here, not told me.
Here,
And I
I don't
look
know.
like her.
Sharon, would you like to say anything about your 10-year, literally?
I have lots to say.
Oh,
and it's
boy,
not
guys.
10 years. So the first meeting of the IAC that I ever attended was in this building in September of 1993. In many ways, I could say that IAC raised me, taught me how to be a professional, how to appreciate the value of coordination, cooperation. I remember at the time, Dr. Vogren was on the board. I think Georgie Kinnett may have been, Tina Hammond, possibly Dr. Moore from the high school. That's how far back I go. And so the IAC really set the stage for me in many ways professionally as to how to run an agency, how to run it effectively. And that efficiency comes from the strength of your colleagues and the coordination that goes on between and among the agencies. So IAC really taught me quite a lot. I had progressed through the years of the IAC. I had done reporting secretary for a while, took over for Juan Castro when he left in 2004. And at that time, Carolyn was deputy mayor and was overseeing a 21st Century Community Learning Centers grant. And that was an IAC initiative that the city received to provide academic enrichment for children at the school district. And it was through those programs that I got to meet Spiro. At that time, Arlene Odell was treasurer. She was the director of the Youth Bureau, and she had hired Spiro to be the program coordinator of that grant. And happily to say that SAFE was able to continue with that after-school program that we were providing all those years prior. During my 10-year time, I followed suit with the blueprint that Dr. Vogren and my predecessors had put forth. We did a planning retreat in 2011 with Jennifer Rutledge, just to sort of redefine, reclarify who we are. Remember what we said we were going to do, and let's make sure we're still functioning in that way. Let's revision, very much like Gabor had done for a few years. It's good to do that, and I appreciate everything I learned from people around me, because that, I think, the first strategic planning session that I attended was at the, mansion
Oh, sure.
on Crescent Beach Road, the Woolworth Mansion,
Mhm.
and Georgie was there with paper and you were doing your thing. And that's the first time I really learned how to strategic plan, to do a long and a short and a long-term strategic plan, and how everybody can come together to have components of that. So that's what we had done in 2011. And I believe that when did I go? In 2014?
2014.
2014. So I tried to
Mhm.
keep what I had learned from everybody else going. So between the retreats, the coordination, cooperation, the continuing with the after-school programs, and of course, the usual housekeeping. I think at that time, we also did a lot of, brought in a lot of community speakers, which is something that,
Yeah.
you know, you had highly recommended. And we had Dr. Imhoff from, at that time, Dr. Imhoff had left the behavioral health sciences program at the hospital and become the head of social services. And I think that we had several guest speakers talking to whatever what would Tom used to call it, the weekly dilemma, the dilemma of the week. But he was very smart though, because he took IAC, he brought it to the county and he called it No Wrong Door.
Right.
And essentially, in that building was a quasi IAC of everything that anybody could actually want. And we have a little microcosm of that here in Glen Cove. We have a little bit of it in City Hall with every helping professions. And what we can't do in that building, we reach out. So in essence, this organization is all about how can we most effectively and sincerely help people in need and comprehensively. So what I can't do, I'll call a colleague. If they can't do it, they'll call somebody else. But whoever comes through our doors and all of us collaboratively, they're helped. And it's not just, oh, here, go there, do this. It's heartfelt and it's comprehensive and it's meaningful. People who walk through our doors don't get, here's your hat, what's your hurry? They get, please sit down, how can we help you? What is it that you need? And if I can't do it, I have colleagues that can help everybody come together to help you get to a place where you need to be.
That's what Rhoda's and Joan's idea was, and
so
by
eternal
some miracle,
thanks to
50
the
years
Interravens
later,
Council for raising
we're
me
still.
and teaching me. And thank you, Spiro, for taking over and
I don't think it'd be
doing a
thanking
very
you.
lovely job.
Ability to pick camera. No, it's true. You know, we sit here and we joke a lot, but in all honesty, like Sharon, like Dan, you know, it's funny. I started working here August 11th, 2008. I was given book. This is the 21st Century Grant, created. I remember, it was probably, honestly, I always had a 3-year policy. Every 3 years you change jobs. At that point, I was young, I was, you know, whatever.
6 months there.
You know, I'm here 14 years at this point, but no. I remember my first IAC meeting in September, and Arlene at the time, amazing woman, amazing director, taught me a lot. She said, you have to go to these. I'm like, what is this? She goes, you have to go. You'll see. You're a smart guy. You'll see. So I started going to the meetings, and the first meeting was, oh, who's this guy? But you sit back, you listen, and you're like, oh, wow, I'm going to get something out of this. In record time, we were able to create the best after-school program voted by New York State. They were throwing money down our throat. That's how good that program was. We were a model. We would go. It was an amazing experience. By the end of year one, it blew up. And it was because of IAC. But the good thing about IAC then was, and it's not your fault, you're here, and we come to your organizations, we're missing that connect with the other organizations that we have. I remember going to the Boys and Girls Club, and we would take a tour there, see what their issues were, what their problems were. I remember talking with La Fuerza, seeing how we can help. They work together on the grant, this, that, the other. some of these organizations now have shunned themselves. And it'd be nice to bring everyone back to the table.
So
I
I'm gonna
think,
make that a goal for next.
I think it should be a goal, and I think honestly, it's no longer, and I'm pulling an executive decision. It's not if you can, if you want us to come to you, we're gonna tell you where we're going. You know, what you, boys and girls should open the doors, Safe should open the doors. Brenda's church should open, and we should follow that pattern and not be so free about it anymore, because especially for all the new guys, if you get into this organization, it will make your life so easy because you know exactly who the faces are. You can read people, you can tell them your problems, we'll figure it out together. We used to come in here with flyers and everyone just supported each other's program. And it was a nice feel. It was a really nice feel. And it made my job and my venture into Glen Cove a lot easier. And probably that's why I tied in so much and right away. You know, it really showed me.
Don't you think what I said in the beginning is with the internet and all, we don't feel the need to have to sit down with somebody. We can call them, we can video them.
I think we know that
and
the
we're
convenience
missing
is
that.
there, but we're not doing either.
Okay.
You know what I'm trying to say? We're living in, I don't want to say a lazy word, in a busy, busy world.
Right.
And we're all
right,
over the
right.
place. And I still believe that we're all making up COVID. We say that
Yes.
COVID, whatever, some way, somehow, we're working double and triple to make up those 2 years we lost
Mhm.
without realizing,
Mhm.
you know?
Can I say something about IAC? And I've said this before, I work with a lot of professionals throughout Nassau County and Suffolk County in the geriatric space. And I tell them about IAC and they're like, it's a unique organization. This organization, this type of organization does not exist anywhere else on the island to my
There's
knowledge.
one more,
Where is that?
a lot smaller scale, somewhere in Suffolk,
In Suffolk?
but nothing compared to this.
And I
Just a
tell them
bunch of
about it
people.
and they just can't, they're like, really? Like, what do you mean you have this place you can go to? I mean, I'm also on the board of NAIPC, which is similar in that it's all services for seniors and we all like resources for one another, but it's not the same as IAC. It's a very unique
Do
organization.
you think it's because we're a city, we're not a lot of little municipalities?
It's possible, or
I don't
maybe it's
know.
just. the
But
way
so
it's
is Long
structured.
Beach.
Maybe it's
That's
the
true.
community. Yeah, I think it's just the way it grew up and became.
And don't forget, Nassau County is full of mini communities with mini mayors. They might not be city, but there's no reason why Port Washington has been emailing me and trying to come to a
Right.
meeting for the longest time. And
Right.
there's no reason why other areas can't do this. And if anything, it's easier for them to do this.
Right. Right.
But
no.
the initiatives and it's
Back to
different.
what you said, people are so busy.
Yeah.
That, you know, people can't commit to things, or I don't have the time, I don't have the time.
But they don't realize that if they took the
I
time,
know,
this would
it
make their
save
life
them
easier.
time. It would save them time in the long run, but that's what I
Yeah. I think
And I just have to say with the 21st century grant, I came along and there's some. And I want to say as a personal sense, it saved my life with a lot of things because I didn't know anybody in the town and City Hall and all this stuff. I was like, I felt like you had to be in to get in there. So we never, and then when I met Sharon, my friend of mine said, oh, they're hiring for life skills and save for the after 3 program and all that. And so I was like, okay, I met Sharon. And then Sharon was still such a blessing over my life. And my children were in the after 3. And then they learned so much in the after 3. You know, my son used to be like, you're paranoid because you work at Safe. Check his back. What are you doing? Where are you going? Who
That's
are you with?
right.
Do you know that smoking? So they're like, oh my gosh, you're probably driving me crazy. I'm like, no, no. And then I have to say too, like at that time, after 3 and all that stuff it was like the best of the best.
Mhm.
I was so grateful that my kid, now my son, I have another child now that's younger, and he's still in the office, you know, and he loves,
And then they
this
come
summer
back
he
and
took
work
off.
with us.
Yeah,
That's
so
good.
it's been a blessing, not just for me as a job or a career or whatever you want to call it, it's a personal. And I was able to refer people, I was able to get referrals from me when I was in a really hard time in my life. So to me, IAC and the agency and all this connection has been a really big deal. So if we get all these people back in and we pull them in, we could continue to help more people.
That's the goal for
That's
now.
the-
Exactly.
we
We have a
have-
lot to
Right.
learn from each other.
Yeah.
We have 50 organizations right now, and, there was a good amount of people here today, but I think that there's so many more people
Yeah.
that we're not connected with. And I think something like a conference or something like that, that we could plan would be a great way to do it.
Well, we
Would
were
be
hoping
just
to do that.
showcase it.
50th anniversary at the Metropolitan again. and then
Exactly.
we-
That
we
was
got-
more of a gala though, and I think
Yeah,
what we should
but I
do is
think it-
more of this conference idea
Yeah.
in that kind of respect.
It's a great idea, and yes, unfortunately, I think everyone it's not just the busy part, every organization is trying to survive.
Yeah.
Now as well, so we're all doing our fundraisers, we're all doing our this, we don't know what tomorrow's gonna bring. And if you just look at the calendar, there really is not enough days in the week, let alone months in the year, and I think that's part of the issue. I think things were a little bit easier, even up until probably up until the internet, and then up until 2014 is when I think everyone just got boom.
Too much
Yeah,
information,
yeah.
too much,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Interesting.
we all know that we're here for each other, and I think that's what's important, and that's part of the comfort that, if I can't make it next month, I can just make a call and I'll get the information I need, and that's a testament to the friendship and the board and everyone, and we're all here together to help each other.
This was from my little world of forums. You mentioned Thomas Wise. Thomas Wise is the one that started Kiwanis in Glen Cove again. It used to be a club thousands of years ago. And he had called me on the phone. He says, "What are you doing?" I said, "We're talking to you." What? And he says, "We'll come down to the shore." And he says, I want you to meet some people." And I walk in the room with and he goes, "There's our new treasurer," last person in the room. So anyway, but the point we're making is that if it wasn't for Tom, I wouldn't know any of this. And if it wasn't for Tom, I wouldn't be able to be part of Kiwanis. Now, I joined Kiwanis and had no idea what it was. I thought it was a bear. Well,
There, that's a koala.
well, what do I know?
I heard
I'm
it.
from the City, I was born in Brooklyn. Give me a break.
Recording secretary.
But anyway, the point I'm making
You
is that
recorded.
when I joined AAC a long time ago, and my club said, "What's the point of it? What are they doing for us?" And I'm saying, "No, it's not like what are they doing for us?" So then I said, "I'm gonna do this again." I did it out of my own pocket, representing my club. But one of the things now that I'm president, you gotta listen to me. But one of the things, I've been president 4 times, so no big deal. But one of the things you have to understand is that I have gone to people on this, Brenda. I called Brenda, help me. I've told Sharon, help me. And I would never have known that. I wouldn't know that this help was here. And if you're gonna stay, well, this is my club, we're just gonna do what we wanna do. It doesn't work that way. And one of the things I've always said is my children are grown and they're gone. They don't live with me anymore. But one of the things my son came to me and said, which shocked me, was that, "Mom, I'm so glad I grew up in this community.
Oh, that's nice.
And this community raised my children. And if you can see who I am, it's very difficult to raise children, my color, in this town. Because there's not that many of us now. When I first moved, there was a lot of us. There's not that many of us now. And I'm so proud of my son. And I'm so proud that they told me this, and I'm thinking about all of the other children, the after-school programs that I go to, because they had the showcase this the other day, and I love it. And I go every single year. But I'm just saying, this is what this is, and people, come out of your shell. You got something to say, say it. As everybody knows, I have no filter.
No?
And I will say what's on my mind. But I'm just saying, but I've always been. But I'm just saying, it's because of the IAC, we have such a great community. And if you don't come to the meetings, like I cannot come for a couple, but I can call somebody and say, "I need this, I need help, I need this, I need that."
Excuse me, do you always record the meeting?
Yes,
Where
that's our
somebody-
recording secretary.
Well, yeah, right, no, but I mean, I didn't really even think about it. We could go on, if we missed a meeting, we
Yeah.
can go on
Yeah.
and, okay, there you go.
So, I mean, it's whatever you want to think of it, so it's really good. On that note, I am not running for anything. I have been given the honor from, I was voted person of the year last year for a day.
Yeah.
End of December, and 2020, it's Saturday, so like, for one day I was person of the year.
Person of the year.
Right. It's a- it's just one day. Anyway, so. So anyway, so what's going on in my world is that it does have something to do with Kiwanis. Was that Travis, he's not here, so I can't choke him. His church has decided to honor me, and there's a golf event that's coming up. I said, well, what a nice honor. I said, wow, this is really nice. He said, you have to get sponsors. I'm like, what? I had no idea. I'm never gonna do this again.
Yeah.
Because it's like begging. Knocking on doors, asking people to help me. But I would really like, and it's very expensive, but my feeling is, and my friend told me this, and he says, they don't have to give that much money. It's a whole bunch of people just contribute, and we could just do as a bundle of, just say friends of, you don't have to be my friends. People who know her. So I was just saying, here's a flyer if anybody would like it, but I really could use some sponsors. The other thing that I mentioned was that, yes, we're having a wheelchair challenge again. I don't know if anybody went the last time, but it's an awful lot of money. And last time we had Mike Zangaris, the one that got his friends who were all wheelchair. Some of them are, I have no idea who these men were, but they were a lot of fun. And one guy scared me because he was sitting there, and all of a sudden he said to me, hold this. I was like, okay. And I turned around, whoa! And it was his leg. So, but it was all fun to see how I was going to react to things. But it's a lot of fun, and this year is going to be different because these are kids. And what I like about the idea, it's kids, because it's at the high school. We're doing it at the high school.
When is it?
And it's it's the last Thursday of September.
Oh,
And it's gonna be from 4 to 9. So I'll send out flyers, but just save the date. I don't know what it is. But it's gonna be a lot of fun. Like I said, and the last time we had the fire department, the police department, the teachers, which the kids loved, the teachers were there. And we had a couple of Kiwanis clubs that came. We had 5 clubs. And it's all to raise money for scholarship for the kids in Glen Cove. And then last but not least, I'm doing defensive driving again, which I do all the time. And I'm doing it June 24th, which is not this Saturday, next Saturday at Trinity Lutheran at 8:30 in the morning. And so I'm waiting for the community center to open so I can I would love to do them here again, but you know. So anyway, but I'm doing. Keep me in mind.
yeah.
Right, so I'm just saying,
Absolutely.
the Trinity Lutheran Church is $45 a person. And it's officially a 6-hour course, right, Carol?
Right.
That's why we like police here.
So June 24th, probably will be
My
fun.
granddaughter will be there.
I get a lot of phone calls. A lot of my seniors are coming, which is surprising.
Yeah.
There's a lot of my seniors, and I also run medical transportation, and this is my club. I need drivers. I am begging for drivers. I want to extend the program. Our program runs from 9, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, from 9 to noon. I want to extend it from 9 to 2. But I need drivers to do that, because a lot of people don't want to drive over. This is over. And I've also extended the distance of where we're gonna go. I was told, I'm not gonna say the phone list, but that we're already concerned for a cold. And so I just, as you know, I have no phone. So what are you gonna do? Take a, I said, I'm a volunteer, you can't fire me. So anyway, so we're going to Bayville, Bayville, up to what is it, North Shore, across the street from Nassau County Museum. Used to be Paul Corporation.
Jocelyn?
Oh, JCC?
Yeah, but that building, that used to be part of Paul. That was
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Roslyn Harbor, yeah, so we drove there. I will take you to, we always went to Locust Valley, Seacliff, and I'm toying with Fort Washington because there's a dialysis machine there, and I need somebody to be there all day. I only have one car, so and you can't drive your personal car because of liability.
Right.
So, but I'm just saying, if anybody is sitting around saying, I'm going to have them call me because I got something for them to do. But I have a car, and Danielle was super helping me. Oh, look, there's my girl. Did I say that? But anyway, I need drivers, I really do. So if anybody knows somebody that needs something to do, you get extra credit. as my husband would say, it's a mitzvah. So you're doing a mitzvah, you know,
Thank you.
so,
Okay,
thank you.
any other announcements? Anybody?
Tony,
I
Tony,
just want to, get back to the library, our hosts. And say what a friend the library is to veterans. Particularly Lydia, she's nonstop helping the veterans. The banner program that, took place in Morgan Park, she initiated it. The, student essays, that was another one of her initiatives. And, if, finances are needed to, get something to support a veteran, she'll she's not afraid to ask, you know, so there was a computer program that ran out of funding. So she asked, you know, those people that are having the galas for veterans, well, she went to 3 different organizations and got each of them to contribute some money. So now that program is continuing to run. And she does so much more, and thank you and thank the library.
and thank you for the banner program too,
Yes.
in Morgan Park.
Yes.
Oh, if you haven't been down there, go down and see all the veterans banners hanging. It's beautiful. Yeah.
I just want to announce, I'm with the Glen Cove Chamber of Commerce as well, one of the vice presidents. And we are having our fall festival, so save the date for Saturday, September 23rd. We're gonna send out information very shortly. So if you haven't participated last year, it's our first year. And this year, we're looking, it's a free event. It's basically, it's at Scarby's Point, and it's bounce houses for the family. We have tons of different member tables set up. If you're a non-member, you could also participate. So it's a really great way just to kind of get out there with your family, have fun, and learn a lot about like our organization. So it's definitely a thing. Yeah, we have vendors, and we have lots of food. Sid's coming with his food truck this year. And then there's a couple other vendors too that are coming. So, yeah. Yeah, it doesn't have carnival rides, but we do have like bounces and stuff like that. So it's a little, yeah, it's a fun thing. And then there's a rain date, so if we need to, but we'll be coming out with that. And other than that, I love working with the IAC. I wanted to chime in, everybody's saying the IAC, their little stories. And the reason I became quickly involved with the IAC is because I started working here in Glen Cove and didn't know anybody. And so I was like, well, what can I do to really get to know people? And this came across my desk, and I just kind of started getting involved. And then I think I raised my hand one meeting and I forgot to put it down. And then and then I became a part of the board. So no, but it's great. And thank you for the website comments. I appreciate that. And if anybody ever nonprofits need work on their websites, I actually do that on a side business, which some of the people know in the room. So let me know. And that's my announcement. Does anybody else have any announcements?
I'm going to be in touch with Rhoda again, our original, I see her frequently. She's in her mid-90s now and sharp as a tack, but just couldn't travel this far this early in the morning. But I am going to send everybody's love to her for what